And this is what happens when you try to do more than one thing at a time. Anyway. Good morning to all of you. It is a Reaction Monday. I was trying to do, how I've been trying to do the thing where you're posting the fact that you're live on one of the 3 social media that we're on. And there are some mornings apparently when it does work on its own. And then there are some mornings when it doesn't. And this was one of those mornings where it doesn't. So while the open was going on, I was trying to figure out how to link everything to that particular account, the X account, and say, hey, we're live, and try to do it before the open was over, and it didn't work. So that was why I was silent and trying to figure out how I can switch back over to talk to all of you folks here this morning. So we're live, and I'm going to try and do the things. Here we go. So it is a very, very busy week here. Morning, David. And it is, how busy is it? Well, first off, Reaction Mondays are always going to be Abe, Maddie, and Bart. Abe's going to join us here in a little bit. We're going to find out about his marathon. We're going to find out if what he saw from Atlanta United. Maddie's going to join us at 9:30-ish. We'll talk first team and we'll talk twos because the twos had their season opener in Rhode Island last night, and that was on the SDH network, and Maddie was on the call for that. And so we got your first half highlights there. We'll talk about the match, talk about things to look forward to with the twos because their home opener is 6 days' time. Next Sunday in Athens at the Turner Complex, Carolina Core come to town, and obviously we'll have that one for you from Athens on the network. Pregame, I think, 6:30, and the twos and Core are like 7:02 kick. So we'll have that for you coming up this week. Bart's going to join us at 10:30. Real World stepping in the way at 10 o'clock. So at 10:30, we've got a lot to talk about. We've got to get into USWNT in Argentina. Scary moments last night involving Trinity Rodman. Don't have any update there. Another just odd moment when it came to what, cards and calls and such, and you have pulling of hair by Argentine players trying to keep the USWNT from odd rushes in transition. Probably should have caught up with our friend Lucas Panzica about this too. But yeah, it was a moment where you have Argentine defenders pulling hair to stop rushes. We'll get into that with him. We'll get into Yanks abroad. Christian Pulisic is still over 26 when it comes to his scoring. Please, yes, of course, the panic is setting in amongst everybody. Yunus Musa scored, by the way, on the weekend. And then we get into cards and calls, and there was a lot to get into there. So Bart's joining us at 10:30 through the end of the show instead of at 10 o'clock. So we're going to have Bart on the hop coming up in the last half hour. In that gap space, we'll get you into all your morning news. Demi Torrent is out at Monterrey, and Igor Tudor thinks he might get sacked. 3 weeks in, and he thinks he might get sacked. We'll get into what happened in the Premier League this weekend. Obviously, for a Spurs fan, it's not good, and we'll get into all of that stuff here this morning. So obviously, we've got to get into what went down with Atlanta United. We'll get into the stats. And like I said, when Abe shows up here in just a little bit, we will kind of break it all down for you and let you know what's on your mind as well. No, the offense was not very good, and it's the second week in a row that has happened. Defense, though, a lot to look forward to there. And the continuing growth of Jakob, and what we saw at the back. So with what Tata Martino wants the team to do, it's looking right now like defense first heading into the home opener. And so because of this, I would request / ask that when you show up on the weekend that you're there that much more, because they need to know this, early in the season that you're behind them. And if things are going to turn around, sometimes some things do first before others, and the guys are going to need a lot of support under Tata Martino as they're going to try to get that first home win against RSL coming up on the weekend. So we'll get into that. We'll get into all the other stuff. And like I said, news tomorrow. That's right. That's what I was going to do. I was going to get into the rest of the week. It is massively crowded. Morning, Ricky. Yes. And so I'm guessing. So see, they didn't even wait till 9:30 for the cryptic tweet. So it was, well, and aren't we supposed to have an eclipse or something? So, all right. So the cryptic tweet is at a riverside with a couple of bridges, and then you have a plate, a paper plate that is put up in front of the bridges, and it's blocking out the bridges. I mean, for me, I was thinking that it might be something solar eclipse based, but I don't know when the solar eclipse is. So that's all right. So I have no idea. I literally have no idea about this one. I have no clue. I mean, I kind of have an idea, because I mean, if you're trying to, all right. So, all right, hang on. So if it is Matthias Galarza, if it is Mati Galarza or Galarza Fonda, depending on how you want to. Hey, oh, I get it. Okay, I'm there. Oh yes. All right, now I got it. Okay. No, yes, Ricky, yes, absolutely. Let's bring in Abe Gordon from 92.9 The Game. God, it took me a second. Oh my God, I was trying to figure out. Okay, so Five Stripes Don't Stop. Hi, good morning, by the way. How was your marathon?
The marathon was not good at all. It was too hot, and you could probably tell pretty. I could tell in mile 2 it was going to be a problem, but it didn't actually hit me till about mile 14 and 15, and then it was all downhill from there. But that's all right. We got to finish. Technically, it is a PR, even though it was depressingly far from the goal we had set. So we did finish. That's about all I can say.
Okay. Just I feel like I have to ask, with all the training that you have in these situations. I feel like we have to bring this stuff to the fore to let everybody in and live vicariously through you and your fitness regime. So that was why I brought that up.
Yeah, no, it was just too hot. And when I originally saw the initial 10-day forecast, I was like, okay, it says it'll be like 45 degrees when we start, and then and by the time we finish, it'll be 65. And then as the week went on, I was like, all right, by the time we finish, it'll be 68. And then by the time we finish, it'll be 72. And no cloud cover. Like in the very first mile, as we turned uphill, as the sun hit me in the face, and I look up and I don't see a single cloud. I'm like, well, that's not going to help. And it just got too hot. That was that. A lot of people started to struggle. I mean, most of us did a lot of training in the high 30s, mid to low 40s. And you're running out there and it's 65, 68, just becomes a problem.
So yes, and that is why you are in far better condition than I am, because all I do is sit there and ask questions about it instead of actually go out and do anything. Okay. We got to get into this because it's one of the topics. It is why we do Reaction Mondays the way that we do them. We have two topics, actually. One probably at 10 o'clock and the other going on right now. Atlanta United still offense, still trying to figure out how to put the ball in the back of the net. It was another long evening offensively for them, going to San Jose, and San Jose gets the Duke 2-0. How much of it were you able to digest after the fact?
Yeah, I did not see San Jose's second goal. I'd tried to go to bed before then. I saw the first goal, and really frustrating because Hoyos had played around with it in his feet probably 6 or 7 minutes prior and made a bad pass out of the back that luckily United's defensively scrambled and kind of got a clearance on. And this was just another situation where it's just a terrible ball from Hoyos, and this time it did lead to a goal. And he's got no one to blame but himself. I don't blame the defense for that. You can't give the ball away that close to net when everyone's starting to push up the field, and it's just a bad pass. Either play it deep or move it to someone who can. Don't wait for the defense or for their press to pressure you and then force, I guess, force a bad ball. But that was really, really frustrating because I had seen him make a near mistake a couple of minutes prior. And then this one, obviously they delivered on it. So I'm not overly upset or frustrated about a guy getting a header kind of wide open right in front of goal. This was on Hoyos. It really was very frustrating. And this goes back to something I told you and something I told Mike Conti is the one thing we didn't see from Jaden Hibbert that I expected to see from Hibbert was, especially last year when he was young, a couple of mistakes that maybe led directly to goals. And at that time in the season last year, you probably could have lived with that because of where the season was headed. And we just didn't see that from him. And so to see this now in game 2, multiple problems out of the back with Hoyos and the ball at his feet. Another one he conceded a corner on for no reason. It made a mistake there, and luckily that corner didn't turn into anything, but tried to knock it off of one of the San Jose attackers who was defending in the moment, but had let it go over the end line before knocking it off of him. And it's just not good stuff. Not good stuff from the goalkeeper's feet. And it gives another opponent too easy of an opportunity to be in dangerous positions there. So very frustrated with the first goal. And that brings you forward to the attack. I don't know really what anyone is doing. We can kind of look a little bit if you want to after the substitutions and whatever, and say they looked a little bit better once some of the subs were made, once Moranchuk. But at that point, it's 1-0. Shortly after that, 2-0. And then, San Jose is probably a lot more willing to let you have a couple of runs with the ball. So they're starting to defend a little bit differently. Still zero interest from Latte Loth, it appears, although he did drop further back quite often a number of times. And then I'd start to think, all right, well, he's back there, but now we have no one up front to do anything if we can actually find a couple of passes strung together. So, I don't really know what the attack is. I don't know what the plan is. I don't know if it's about team tactics. I don't know if it's about individuals, if it's communication, if it's the unit not meshing and gelling. But I agree with what Maddie had said in the post-match on Saturday. I didn't listen to it live, but I did see the video the next morning. And it was just like, we had a baseline from match 1, and the idea was to improve. And it felt like you went the wrong way. Yeah. And that's the biggest concern now heading into a home openers. Not only do you not have to get back to the baseline you had set in match 1, which I think was an okay baseline, right? But now you actually have to essentially take the baseline and jump it again for your home opener. And I have a tough time really trusting and being optimistic they're going to do that based on it's now 2 games. You've lost both 2-0. And unless there was a chance later in the match that I didn't see, your best chance to score a goal came on a Saba attack in the first match in 10 minutes in on a shot from outside the box. And it just doesn't feel like there's anything dangerous coming right now. And I don't have much of a reason to believe that it's going to be honest. And yeah.
I mean, it's in the discussions and in the opportunities that we have to, listen and hear from Tata Martino, whether it's leading into a match or after a match. One of the things that he has always maintained this season is, once again, we mentioned the idea of being the protagonist. And I don't know where, and I'm trying to figure out how to phrase it, but, and it was the point that we were making in the post-game show. I think that he wants his players offensively he wants them to be aggressive going forward. And he doesn't mind when you're aggressive going forward, if something doesn't work. He wants you to continue to try those ideas. He wants you to continue to push forward and push through any kind of unsuccessful moments, because the more that you push through them, the more you're unsuccessful, the more you have the chances and the opportunity going forward to be successful. What we're seeing is a lot of back passing. We're seeing folks that aren't at times secure in their own thought patterns. You know, it's instead of going forward and being aggressive about it, it's like, okay, you see something happening in front of you. Okay, I need to maintain possession of the ball for us instead of going forward and trying to do something on offense and then reacting from that. Am I making any sense when it comes to the ideas? It's like it's okay to go forward if something doesn't work. But if you're going backward and something doesn't work, then you're creating a double problem. So be aggressive in what you're doing and don't worry about that part because things will work themselves out if you're being aggressive going forward offensively.
Well, and the other problem is it was a total onslaught one way direction in the first, how, I don't know, 30 minutes, whatever it was until their first goal.
Right.
It was just completely all in Atlanta United defensive end, and trying to start your attack, start your build that deep, and then going back at times from there is different than if you're starting kind of somewhere in the middle third, you get the ball over the halfway line, and then maybe you have to drop as opposed to it. But again, I just don't know what there is to go forward with, because if Latte Loth is dropping as far back as he is, Miggy's kind of out there on an island, and Miggy as an individual cannot play on an island. He's not good enough. He's not fast enough. We can go. It's not the same Miggy. It's understandable. We know that, but we have to call it out when it is. And so he can't play out there solo. Latte Loth is, I guess, doing a little bit more this week to try and find himself involved, but that requires dropping too far back. I mean, the clown show of a MLS announcer on Apple, who ought to be fired anyways. He did say one thing right early on, and that was that Latte Loth is spending more time defensively in his own box than he was attacking in the other side of the box. So, you know, it's just tough to move forward when, I mean, and this is why I at times have brought up Luke Brennan. If nothing else, he's going to run at you and he's going to move forward, and he's a quality enough dribbler that the other side of the attack doesn't have. And so you wonder if he could open things up a little bit. And I know people are definitely split on him at times as well, but yeah, it's tough. And it goes kind of from like every level of soccer up, right? Including like rec league and co-ed and high school. Like if you have one dribbler that can make a defender miss and pull other defenders, completely gets the opposing defense out of their shape, it's going to open something up. And Atlanta United doesn't have a dribbler, and it takes a special team to be able to pass through a defense. And Atlanta United certainly isn't doing that either. So again, I don't know where the attack comes from. Maybe you start to rack up some set piece goals or something, because I haven't seen anything remotely threatening in open play. And that's going to be a problem when, as you said, we want you to go forward. We want you to take chances. We want to play vertical. We want to do this. But if just ultimately you end up still having 0 goals, your defense is at some point going to concede based on the risk that's being taken. There's been no reward. There's been no reward from any of that style of play right now. And so that needs to change.
Well, and to that point, I think that it reemphasizes the importance of having a healthy Alexei Miranchuk, because he is not 90 minutes fit right now. And he came in and gave you, I think it was 20 in match number 1. He ends up giving you, I think, 30 in match number 2. And so it not having him as that point guard and that catalyst on, you know, being on the right-hand side or whatever, wanting to set up the left and set up Miggy working inside, or however you want to position Alexei Miranchuk, not having that point guard right now is an issue in all of this, where you don't have that guy that can sit there and give you the passes and help you spring forward. And so you're trying to figure out how you can work around that until he gets you 90 minutes fit, because you did see in the second half when Atlanta United was down 1-0 and Miranchuk is in, what he means to this offense. And so I think that's something that we have to monitor going forward, is the fitness and overall getting to 90 minutes fit that Alexei Miranchuk is where he is on that road right now.
Yeah, it definitely will help. But to what extent? Like, to how much? Again, I do think they played a little bit differently defensively. San Jose did, having the 1-0 lead, and then certainly when they were able to get the second one, I think just before the 80th minute, maybe. From there on out, it's kind of tough to gauge just how big of a different impact he has. I think we all agree he is a boost. Offensively, and maybe that is what it takes to get Miggy a little bit more dangerous, to get the left wing a little bit more dangerous, and certainly to get Latte Loth a little bit more dangerous. But he's a band-aid to the attack, if that. It's certainly not a coverall. I certainly don't expect him to come in and like the offense looks like it's flowing. It looks like Miami last night, right? They're down 2-0, and in the blink of an eye, they score 4. I don't think Moronchuk is coming in, and that's the switch that gets flipped for Atlanta United. He will help. There's no question about it, but there's a lot bigger questions than just Moronchuk coming back in and what will the attack look like with him there. I think it'll be better, but it won't be where it needs to be. Not based on the play outside of that midfielder that we need.
Yeah, and I think, and that goes back to the original point of, and this almost feels like it's, the chicken and the egg argument about being aggressive and not having a point guard. If you bring your point guard, does that help you being aggressive, kind of a thing? And so it's just getting to what the manager wants you to do and having all the pieces to do it. And that's kind of where we are heading into this home opener with RSL. Man, that went by quick. Wow. All right. So what's on your mind as we head into the home opener, sir?
Honestly, I am interested to see if there's a change at keeper. Yeah. You obviously can't pull Hoyos like at mid-game for Hibbert. But that first goal, John, it really bothered me. It did, because one of the main reasons you're playing him is that he is a veteran. And multiple times he puts you in danger all on his own. I'd say a fair amount when he wasn't really forced into it, unless he waited too long for the pressure to build on himself. And if we're going to do that, I haven't seen anything or enough to keep him in there. So I would be calling for a keeper change personally. And I get why you don't do it at halftime, right? You're not going to overreact and lose a sub and all that. I'm going to be interested to see if Hibbert gets a little bit more of a shout. If your veteran leader at keeper is going to be the one providing mistake after mistake out of the back, that's a problem. And you may as well throw the young guy in who did a really good job last year and is still needs a path to development. And so we'll see. And then, like you mentioned, it'd be really nice to get Moronchuk in there for even if it's not the full 90. If he can go 60, you obviously go the 60 from the start as opposed to from the backside there. So maybe those two things would make a little bit of a help, a little bit of a change, but we'll see. It's a home opener. Hopefully fans are excited. I understand it's going to be tough to kind of ramp it up when you're 0-2, no goals scored on the season, but it is still early. So hopefully they can find their way back.
6:30, I think, is Five Stripes countdown, 7:40 kick. So it's you and Maddie early, Mike and Jason game, you and me for the full-time report on Saturday. Did I get that right?
You did. And a separate note to that, I do believe the game is on Star 94 as well. I think it's competing with a Hawks affair, I would guess. Let me double check that it's on Star. But yes, 6:30 on Star 94, 94.1, if you still use an old-fashioned radio dial. So we got a couple of games on there here on Star coming up. So looking forward to that.
And it is 6 out of 7 from now at home, and time to make some hay. So good to see you, my friend, and I will see you soon. And as you well know, you can always come in and crash anytime. So it's good to see you, and we'll catch up soon, my friend.
Yeah, it'll be good to be back at the stadium and get it kind of back underway here on Saturday.
Looking forward to it. Be good.
You got it. See ya.
There goes Abe, and so we hot tag in Maddie Cruz because it's time for Maddie's version the Monday, so the Maddie's version Monday style. So is that a proper way to look at a sequel, Maddie? Or because we know that Maddie's version is kind of like your way of doing it, but when you put out a sequel to Maddie's version, or like is this like the vinyl release where it comes out, like as a normal release, but then you come up like the special vinyl version? Is that what we're doing here on Mondays, I guess?
I mean, I always go with like like musical theater where like you have the initial song and then you have the reprise. So I
Okay.
feel like maybe that's what it would be. Sorry if
Okay.
you can't tell, I sound like I smoked 10 packs a day because the voice is gone, guys. Well, kind of. It's fine.
Yeah, it was a long and crazy weekend for us. It was the twos yesterday, and we will talk twos while you are here. And it was Atlanta United, and you and I were inside the Kia studios at 92.9 The Game, and everybody could listen there on the Odyssey app. And we were getting into the discussion about probably at the top of the hour. It is, and me being the literal person that I am, we got a 5 stripes don't stop tweet. They didn't even wait till 9:30. I mean, literally it was like 9:07. And we get the 5 stripes don't stop tweet. And I was trying to figure out, okay, it's a river and there are 2 bridges and there's a paper plate that's in front of everything and it's just kind of blocks it. And I'm thinking, is that having to do with the eclipse? And me being the literal person that I am, as I was telling Ricky Ricardo, Ricky had it figured out. And it's River Plate. And I'm like, oh.
Oh gosh.
Okay. And so River Plate. And so that if things are going to lean a certain direction, that probably means at 10 o'clock, they're going to announce the Matias Galarza or Matias Galarza Fonda. We don't know if it's going to be all 3. We don't know if he's going to be MGF or if he's just going to be Matias Galarza. So we'll figure that out. But it appears heading in that direction, 10 o'clock looks like it's going to be the official announcement of Matias Galarza being added for Atlanta United. But now that you have had less than 12 hours to think about, well, actually, no, it's like 11 hours to think about Atlanta United 2 and a couple of days to think about Atlanta United. When Abe was in, we were talking about the offense or lack thereof and the idea about being aggressive offensively, not getting those numbers forward, almost thinking too much, I guess, if you want to put it that way, when it came to what we saw offensively. Defense coming along faster than the offense in this situation. So there's a lot to get into when it comes to Atlanta United. Where did you want to start?
Let's start with the first team because then
Okay.
we can close with the twos because I feel
And
like
then you get a 2-minute rest break because I have the highlights from the first half.
oh gosh. Okay. Sure.
Mhm.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Well, no, but I mean, like when we get to the twos, when we get to the twos, I'll get that 2-minute break for you so
All
we
right.
can listen to the first half highlights. But all right, first team, what's on your mind?
Yeah, first team, I think for me, yeah, I mean, it was not what I think we wanted to see. I know for me, I wanted to see, I think the team continued to build off of what you saw against Cincinnati, and that didn't happen. And to say what Mike and Jason said, it kind of felt like a regression. It felt like, you had built a decent baseline against Cincinnati, and I really did. I thought the performance was actually pretty solid for Atlanta in the home opener. The home opener, that's this Saturday. In the season opener. I felt like you had a little bit you were able to build a little bit more. You saw the pieces connect a bit in Cincy, and then in San Jose, it just kind of I don't know what I honestly don't know. I it's simple as that. I don't know. I think it was very weird getting to, see that. And that was one thing that stuck out to me. And I mean, there's really that. I mean, I did think when you saw Alexi
Mhm.
check in, and even Tristan too, I would say I think that when they checked into the matchup, I felt like it got a little bit better to like build a little bit. I felt like you had those pieces maybe helping a tad. But I mean, at that point, there's not a whole lot you can do there, and it still just felt kind of disjointed at the time. I said it to you on post game. I don't know if it's an idea of, in the first half, it just all felt really hesitant. Like it was like overthinking passes, overthinking moments in the game. And I don't know if that's just, you're getting in your head because you're trying to still figure out this system. You're still trying to get things going. But the thing for me was the regression of what it was, that can't happen. Like there needed to be something on top of what you did against Cincy in that match against San Jose. And it felt like a step backwards. And I think as you head into Saturday, there needs to be improvement. It's not a need, it's a must. Like there needs to be something there, especially it's your home opener. And it's going to be back at the Bends. Tata's back at the Bends for the first time since 2018, since the MLS Cup. It's going to like that needs to be like you're going to use that on top of it. I think Ronald Hernandez said it to Jason on the full-time report too. It's you're going to use that to help fuel you. But there's the other thing too, is we do need to see an improvement on the pitch for these guys too. That has to happen. And we need to see that at home, because here's the thing. You have a home stretch now. I mean, what did you say? Six of the next seven?
Yeah, 6 of 7 at home. This is where you got to make your head.
They're at home. You need to get points. You need to get points. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. You need to pick up points.
Yep. Ronald, and I would recommend that in the latter stages of the full-time report, and what I may do tomorrow is I may play it in its entirety, the conversation that Jason had with Ronald, where Ronald said that you have to remove this game. That was the words that Ronald said. You have to remove this game. Basically, out of mind, get rid of it. I mean, obviously you take the lessons from it, but you've got to remove it. He said this is not the standard, and we have to bounce back in our own home. We need to see who we are, and getting back home, it's what the badge is about, being at Mercedes-Benz. We need to be smart. We need to be consistent, and just out of rhythm. And I think that when Ronald mentioning that they were out of rhythm and that San Jose ended up getting on top of them early, that goes back to your point about Alexei Miranchuk that I was trying to make with Abe as well. But you take the lessons from this one, and as Ronald says, you remove it, you go in. Starting 11 was Hoyos in net. Back four was Elias Baez, Juan Betacol, Ene Mihai, Ronald Hernandez. Then you had in the midfield Alzate, Tomas Jacob, Cooper Sanchez, and then in the attack Saba, Latte Lot, and Miggy. Cooper puts in another 70 minutes of solid play before he was subbed out. And I think that once again, one of the early foci, and I remember that from my science class, it's not focuses as much as I would like for it to be. It's foci. Tomas Jacob continues to impress, 2 for 2 with another great performance in the midfield for Atlanta United.
Yeah, I think Tomas has been a really, really excellent addition to this team. And yeah, I think his versatility is already one that gives you just a leg up. I mean, we saw him in that matchup kind of switch a couple areas too. But I think for me with Tomas, I like his recovery runs are fantastic. His speed is incredible. I think it was Jason who said it on the call. He like you think that the ball is going to get away from Tomas, but he has just long legs that he's able to get there quickly and he's able to save it. And you're like, oh, everything's fine. But I really like Tomas. I really do. I think I think for me, actually, especially when we talk about the build-up play, because I still think that is the biggest thing that needs to be worked on in that ball control for the Five Stripes.
Mm-hmm.
Like there needs to be a connection in that bridge between building from that back line, connecting to the midfield, and then finding it up top with the attack. And I think Tomas, it's unfortunate the last 2 games, I felt like a lot of times he's had to kind of really be pushed back to almost being that third center back, because you get caught in those moments of, all right, San Jose's press is pushing. And anytime you get the ball, recover it, you all but have to just send it long because there's nothing you can do. And I think that you want to get him a little bit more involved in being that link, I think, between the back line and the midfield too. And then I think you need to get the midfield more involved too, especially with whoever's out there, whether it's Steven Alzate, if it's Cooper Sanchez, if it's Alexei Miranchuk or Tristan Wayamba, whoever's in there. Like, I think you need to get them more involved too, because that's where that build-up's going to happen. There needs to be that link there and that connection. But Tomas, I think, has been a good addition. But here's the thing, like, Tomas can't do all the work.
No.
Like, he can't do all the work. It has to be a full a Team 11 thing.
numbers on Tomas Jakob in his second match for Atlanta United. The double nickel had 9 defensive contributions, won 4 of 5 tackles, 4 clearances, had a recovery, 8 of 12 on his duels, 8 of 11 won ground duels on the night. With all the pressure that San Jose was pushing forward with, he's 8 of 11 in ground duels, and that was his defensive numbers on the night for Tomas Jakob. Let me check the other numbers really quickly. Passing numbers, 43 of 48, 90% in the overall. 87% completion in the opposition half for his passing at 20 of 23. And he did connect on a long ball while he was out there for Atlanta United. 74 touches. He had total carrying distance of 102 meters on 15 carries. And so keeping an eye on that kind of stuff. But to your point also about carriage and being aggressive going forward, I think that when they look back at the tape, I imagine that unless there was tape study yesterday afternoon when everybody finally got home at 4 a.m., got in a nap, and then went to the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta training ground, I think probably one of the big emphases is, and I think you and Jason will see it this week, is playing forward on the when you've got the ball, playing forward and being aggressive with it instead of trying to keep possession and going backward, because you play it backward, you give the team that's pushing you a shorter field if you turn the ball over like we saw in the first goal. And I think you're going to see a lot of it trying to emphasize and reemphasize, play it forward, because you give yourself room if there's a turnover, and you're once again pushing offensively into the attacking half as you go forward.
Yeah, you want to, I think, get it forward, but you want to build it up. It doesn't need to be a vertical ball over the top, and because those have been not working. And I think it needs to be a build up. That's the biggest emphasis for me. It's that build up play. It's being able to control the ball a little bit better, and then connect those pieces to quickly move forward and push up the field. I think that is the biggest thing for me that I'm looking to see, especially this week. Unfortunately, I won't be at training tomorrow because me and Miss Sophia Cupertino are doing a career fair. So yes, that is happening with me and Sophia. So we're doing that tomorrow. So Jason will be at training, so he'll be able to give you all the insight on Tuesday, but I will be there Thursday. So we'll be able to do that there too. But yeah, I think that for me is the biggest thing. It has to be, how do we get Latte Lath? How do we get SheBelieves? How do you get Alexei Madanchuk? How do you get Miguel Amaron in those positions in the box? How do you do that? And what is the best way to do that? Because you got to start finding some goals.
Mm-hmm.
You have to start finding some goals, and you have to start finding ways to get into the attack more. And you have to continue. You have to use that build-up play. I don't want to transition it to the twos just yet, because I think there's still a little bit more to talk about with the first team, but I'll kind of use what I saw last night in Atlanta United too.
Mm-hmm.
Talking to head coach Jose Silva, it's one of the big things, especially when you have a second team. A second team really does mimic what the first team is doing, especially with the way they play, how things are doing, and what you want to see from it. Because the idea is you are prepping these guys, these younger academy players, these young players, to be ready to step into the first team when needed, because they already know the system, they know what they need to do, and they're ready to go. I will say, I think from watching the twos last night, that was Jose Silva said, they want to press high. They want to make sure they're holding the ball. They want to be aggressive with the ball. They want to, get in your face a little bit. And when they don't have the ball, they're quickly trying to recover it immediately and turn it over back the other direction to try and quickly make a break. Or within 5 seconds, if they can't do that, they're retreating back and they're getting back to defend. I saw that with Atlanta United too last night. If anything, I think I saw exactly what we want to see Tata Martino's Atlanta United look like. And I think especially that's what we need to see from the first team. We need to see, I think, that level of that build-up play, being able to handle that spaces, being able to handle it. Because it really did just felt like at times like the ball control kind of was just getting away from them. And now listen, I do think that there is a level of, and I like to bring in the mentality element of it all, because I do think it is important to talk about. I really do, especially in the game, especially with where we are at with the game and learning more about it now. I do think mental and the mentality is a big thing. Mental and mentality are very different. I meant mental. Sorry, guys. My voice is everything. I'm having my coffee. Everything's fine, guys. We're getting ready for the morning here. All right. I think when you're looking at this game, it really did felt like a lot of times they were overthinking moments and they're
Yeah.
overthinking those things. And that has to go away. And it's easier said than done. But I think if you're Tata Martino, I would rather have this team play braver, not being afraid of the risk
Mm-hmm.
and having make mistakes than to not make any risk and to not play brave and then make no mistakes at all.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather have that because
or even make a mistake when you're overthinking it.
exactly. Yeah. I would rather you go out and be brave and make the risk and take that extra pass, to take that extra step, take that extra shot and make a mistake, or maybe it doesn't work the way you want it to. I'd rather have that than to not do it at all, to keep it more conservative. I don't want that. I want to see this team step up. I want to see this team take a little bit more risk. And it felt like they were just overthinking a lot of those passes and a lot of those moments going forward. And I think that has to change. And again, it's a mental thing. I don't know how you flip that. I don't know how you correct that, because it has to just come from them. But I do think there is that element of it. And I think it also relates to trust. I mean, this team is 50 plus days working together, 50, maybe now a little bit more.
And how many of that has been with your starting 11 as you wish it in a perfect world? That would be my other thought.
I mean, Tata Martino stressed how important Alexei Miranchuk is, especially, I think, to that attack. And I think as he is working back to being 90 minutes fit, I think once you get him ready to go, I think you'll see a little bit of a difference. I would hope you would, because I do think Alexei he's that puppet master. He is the playmaker. You want him to be in the midfield to, keep this going.
All right. You want to get what else is on your mind with Atlanta United, or are we heading to the twos?
I don't know. Apparently, something's going on in the chat, though, John.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Apparently,
The Twitch pitch. We have the high powers of the Twitch. They're going. It's like Abby's comment is being checked by the Twitch police, the Twitch force. Yeah, the Twitch force, and Emilio apparently has had a comment blocked. I don't know. So the Twitch force apparently is out on a Monday. They're in their case of the Mondays.
Oh, I'm sorry, you guys.
Yeah, so I don't know what got into the Twitch force.
I know. I don't have Twitch, so I don't know how I can help. I'm sorry. My brother, I think, actually, I don't know if he's on it. I don't think he is. Actually.
Well, and I mean, I am, because we have to have the conversations on the Twitch pitch. But yeah, apparently the Twitch force is out, and they're in their Monday mood, I guess. So
yeah, fair enough. I mean, me too. So
yeah. So when you look at obviously that lineup, you've got the home opener, and I was making the point before Abe came in that with 6 of 7 coming up at home, you've really got to make your hay here. And this is the home opener being a home opener is obviously a joyous moment anyway, but now it's amplified for the 17s to come in and be there for their club and with their club, considering the start that they had.
Yeah, I think it's even more than ever. I think, this home opener is big. I think it's big for multiple reasons. It's big for me because I get to get the 96 merch. I'm really excited about that. But so I think it's it's important because I think you have to see improvement. I think that's my biggest thing that I'm looking forward in that match is you want to see an improvement on the field, and you want to see some goals. You want to see the attack get moving. You want to see that going forward, and I think that has to be what you see on Saturday. You have to see it, especially now when you look at the standings, when you look at everything else. Listen, it's still early, but again, I mean, you got to pick up points. Yeah. You have to pick up points, especially in this home stretch, especially when you look at the rest of the season. You're going to have a stretch when you come back from the World Cup that, I mean, you're on the road for, 3 months?
Let's see. Hang on. So you had to have me do that. All right.
Sorry, I'm making John do work. I apologize.
Yes, you are. Okay.
Abby, it's correct. It is a manic Monday.
It is.
It is.
So, I wish it were Sunday. I don't have to run day. All right. So with Columbus on May 24th, that's on the road. So the last home match Yeah. All right. So July, you have the 3 matches away in July. So after the World Cup break starts after the match on May 24th, and that is on the road at Columbus. But last home match is May the 9th when LAG comes to town at 7:30. So after that, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the road, but that also takes up the days of the World Cup, and you're not here at home in July because I'm guessing what they're doing is they're reorienting Mercedes-Benz back to turf.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I figured too. So like that's why they're so long. But I mean, but that goes back to my point though. Like I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, you need to win. Like you need to win at least, if not 4, 5, if not all of your home games here. Pick up points. I mean, here's the thing. A draw, depending on some of these matches, you know, you have Philadelphia coming up too. That's going to be a hard one as well. You have a couple of those. I mean, Real Salt Lake. I mean, they were able to take down Seattle 2-1 too. They're a good side. I mean, Diego Luna scares me.
Well, with the kids, and that's the
with the kids too. Like, listen, I think for me, you got to pick up points, and whether that's a tie or a win, I want to see a couple wins. But in this block, you need to get some points at home. You need to get points at home. And that needs to be a must, especially because you're looking ahead at the rest of the schedule. You're going to be on the road for a hot minute. And when you're at home, you need to make them count.
Yep. Let's go to the twos and find out what happened there.
Awesome.
Here are the first half highlights as they happened last night. Maddie's very familiar with this highlight package, considering that it was played last night during halftime. So here's what happened in the first 45 minutes against New England Revolution 2 with Atlanta United 2 in MLS Next Pro, courtesy of us.
Able to connect to Daw in the box. He's brought down. A loose touch still. Tries the shot for New England. Jonathan Ransom coming in to collect. Brilliant goalkeeping from Ransom. Tried to play the overlapping run to Fakiesi, but Dunbar's able to win it back immediately from New England. Dunbar into the 18. He plays out. Liam Butts tries a shot, diving low. A brilliant save from the back line from New England to stop that run, because Liam Butts was right in line at the 6-yard box. Sent all the way back for Atlanta United 2. Chica sends it back to Ransom. Shinanu passes it up to Cibrian. Cibrian plays this ball through, was looking for Butts. Just didn't know if that ball was coming to it, but now Butts is pressuring Parisian. Almost a dangerous situation. Parisian let that ball get away from him as Butts was tracking forward, and that ball almost slipped into the back of the net, but it just hit the post, so it was still in play. As we take a look back at it, it starts with Santiago Pita. He plays this ball and he switches the play to the left. Fakiesi back to Dunbar. Dunbar tries the shot. Parisian gets a touch to it, but what happens is that it's Liam Butts who gets ahead to it. It comes off the bottom of the crossbar, and I don't know if it took an extra touch off of a New England defender, but it goes over the goal line, and it's in for a goal for Atlanta United 2. Able to still hold on to his Fakiesi, but trying to make the turn now. Driving forward is Miles Morgan. He'll send this forward. Oyerwolf trying to make the turn again. Morgan plays that forward again. New England with a brilliant counter, trying to stand it up. Sending that ball in. Diving save for Ransom. It was a great counterattack from New England, but what Atlanta United did so well in that sequence was they got a lot of numbers back. They were able to slow it down. It was Fakiesi who was able to stand up to Oliveira to kind of cut off his angle. So when he made that shot, it allowed for Jonathan Ransom to get low at that near post to knock it out over the end line.
So that was 1-0 after 45. It ends up 1 after 90, and you end up with going to PKs. And I'm still of the Steve Cook school in PKs when it comes to MLS Next Pro. You know, you there with a point, you get a point, and then if you win PKs, it's an additional point. But you have a starting roster with the average age of 19.9, and you had, I think it was 3 18-year-olds, a 17-year-old, and 2 16-year-olds in your lineup yesterday, and they are feeling like, you know, they're all, you know, droopy in the shoulders because they lose a PK shootout for an extra point when you focus on what happened in the 90 minutes. And so that's what you're looking at with MLS Next Pro. But the twos, so average age of 19.9, that was only 4 numbers lower than the actual air temperature.
Yes, it was and I explained it on the call. And I didn't have a chance to look and like watch it, the entire field up at Burn Stadium, like, I mean, they pushed the snow like maybe about like 2 feet away from the touchline. So there is a wall of just snow around the entire field. It was quite funny. It was quite funny.
Yeah. So it was average age of 19.9, air temperature 23 degrees.
Yep.
The wind chill was 15.
Yep.
And the snow drifts were at points that there was this one shot from the field level where the snow drift was taller than Jonathan Ransom.
Yes. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. No, it yeah, listen, if it was cold over there, I mean, I couldn't tell. I mean, I wasn't there, so obviously I couldn't tell. But I mean, you couldn't tell from the performance. I think the twos, I mean, they came out guns a-blazing, I think, in the first half. I think they were all on it. Even in the second half, too. Second half, I think New England took control a little bit more, but Atlanta never, I think, gave up. Atlanta never caved into New England's relentless pressure.
Mm-hmm.
They never caved in. Obviously, the goal that comes in, it's a really good set piece and a good diversion. Jono is able to get to the cross initially on the right, but then it's that follow through on the far post, just unguarded there. It was Miles Morgan, and he's able to slot it home, and then it's tied 1-1. But even then, I mean, even after that, I mean, it was that relentless just push. And I like that this Twos team never gave up. They never gave in to that pressure, and it was Grady. I mean, listen, you saw a whole bunch of academy players step up. Hold on. I thought Shea Ifaki did a great job last night. He was incredible. He looks like he's been playing 50 plus professional games already under his belt. I mean, he was incredible last night. I liked it because, again, like, he wasn't playing scared. He wasn't playing afraid. And I really like that from him. I mean, he was getting into tackles. He was getting involved in the attack. I really like some of our new additions to the Twos this year. Cameron Dunbar, I thought he was incredible up at the attack. Liam Butts as well. He was the one that helped created the goal for the Twos in the 24th minute. And then Enzo Dovolo. I mean, I've seen him in the SoCon Championship when they played Furman last year. And I think he's an incredible player. I really liked his style, his flair. And he showed it last night. He did another back heel, and I honestly think we need to come up with a nickname for him with his back heels because it's getting ridiculous. But yeah, it's I really like the performance. It's unfortunate, that end of regulation, it's the 1-1. And listen, if we could get Steve Cook from Lexington to talk about the penalty shootout again. Listen, I agree. I mean, listen, I firmly agree with this as well, especially with MLS Next Pro. I understand why you do it. You want to pick up that extra point. It makes sense. I completely understand it. For me, though, with it, I don't think a result should be tainted for a team based on what happens in the penalty shootout. I don't think that should be the thing. And if I'm the Twos, I don't want to look at that as the thing. I think for me, what I'm looking at is in that second half, how do we flip the field again? How do we flip it back to our ways? And it felt like at moments, I think that pressure from New England kind of got away. I think it is kind of the same story of what happened in Cincinnati a little bit for the first team. I think that maybe they got a little bit lost in steam a little bit, especially going all force going forward. Yeah. I think the cold might have played a factor too. You probably get a little bit of a chill because you're like, oh, okay. Now the cold's actually starting to hit me a little bit. Other than that, I mean, I thought it was a really solid first performance for the Twos. And listen, I'm pumped about going to Athens for the home opener this weekend on Sunday. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll have all the coverage on soccerdownhere.net/listen. I'm excited to be play-by-play for that again as well. I'm pumped for it. It's going to be fun. But hold on. Actually, I do want to say I'm reading the comments. I did see this, Airborne. I did see this. Like, apparently Danny Rojas from Ted Lasso is going to be signing for El Paso in the USL.
Yeah, Cristo Fernandez, he's working out for Locomotive. I don't know if this is a work of a certain degree or if Cristo is in fact serious about trying to be a part of the roster in the USL Championship, but they've got a week to figure out their roster, and apparently Cristo is doing workouts, so we'll see where it goes.
That would be awesome. Wait, hold on. Is El Paso would they be in the Open Cup?
Oh, let's see.
Are they in the Open Cup? Oh my gosh. If we get to see, I'm going to freak out. This morning right now.
USL Championship Open Cup. Hang on. So if I could spell Open Cup, I would have the opportunity to let you know. Let's see, 2026 Open Cup USL Championship. So, hang on. I think all of those teams are in it. It's just trying to figure out when they roll out. Yes, they're playing Laredo Heat March the 19th at PEG Energy Stadium
All right.
in Open Cup for
Yeah.
2026. But yes, to answer your questions, so the starting lineup, by the way, for the twos, and Bart Keeler is going to join us bottom of the hour, and we're also kind of waiting for Five Stripes Don't Stop. All right, so starting lineup for Atlanta United 2. Jono Ransom in net. It was backline, Fakiesi, Daniel Chica, Matthew Sananu, and Ilan Ettinger, the 2 6s, Didi Cibrian, Aiden Torres. In the attack, it was Dunbar, Santipita, Dovlo, and Liam Butts at the top. So your backline of 4, for those that have not had the chance to consume the information from soccerdownhere.net on your game wrap. Matthew Sananu, 14 defensive contributions, 11 clears, 3 blocks, 6 recoveries, and he won 2 duels. Daniel Chica, 12 contributions, 9 clears, wins 4 duels. Sei Fakiesi, 12 contributions, 9 clears, 6 recoveries, 3 duels. Ilan Ettinger had 6 different categories registered defensively, and he won 5 duels on the night. So that's your back line. And Jono Ransom, who had, I think, 7 saves at the end of the evening and an 8.6, according to our friends at SofaScore. 4 saves from inside the box. He had a successful run out, 7 saves in the overall. It was 12 recoveries for Jono Ransom on the evening, and then 63 touches. And on the night, his passing was 30 of 52, and it was 27 to 36, 75% in his own half, and he connected on 7 long balls on the night. He registered an 8.6, according to our friends at SofaScore. So that was...
Yeah, Jono was great. Jono was great last night. Jono is what, 17? If I remember correctly?
Let's see. Is he 17 or has he turned 18 yet?
I don't know. I mean, my point still stands. 17 or 18. He looks like, again, like Sei Fakiesi. He's been playing for years professionally.
18. He turned 18 back 2 months ago. Basically.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I also really did love that Jono was the one wearing the captain's armband. I love that. Leading this team, I think, from the back. I mean, one of the biggest things he said was, when we asked him last year was hey, what do you who do you aspire to be like? And he said Brad Guzan. He said Brad Guzan, and I mean, I couldn't think of a better person to look up to as well. I think for Jono last night, I like the way he commands the box. He's unafraid. I mean, and I say that a lot, especially when we talk about these homegrowns, when we talk about these players, but it really does reign true. I mean, Jono has such a read of the game too when he's in between the posts, because it's so easy when you see a ball come. I think about that ball in the second half. You see Jaden Daw running at you, 1v1 there. He's in your box. It's a split-second decision. You're trying to think, and normally I think a young keeper would maybe try to step back, maybe give a little bit more room to see where you can maybe try to find the save there. Jono takes it in his own hands. He meets Daw where he is, and he's able to get down low, and he stops the run. I think it's a smart play from Jono, and it's one where I like that you're seeing him take that moment and take it with the reins of it. And he's an incredible player, and he reads the game really well. And I'm really excited to continue to see him develop, especially as the season goes on. I mean, you got some young keepers back there. You got Jaden Hibbert, who's right behind Lucas Ojos on the first team right now. Then behind him, you have Jonathan Ransom, and then you have oh my gosh,
James Donaldson.
Yes, James Donaldson. And then you have him behind you too. You also have another one for the U16s as well. And again, I'm blanking on names. It's really early in the morning. I've seen them too. We talk about all the time that Atlanta United Academy is left back university.
Ruben Clarkson, isn't it?
Yes. Well, I mean, even then we all talk about left back university. I think we're also goalkeeper university too. Yeah. I mean, you look at the goalkeeper coaches we have, you have Parrish, you have Lucas Sharp, I mean, we're getting things going. Lewis Sharp, you got everything going over there. I mean, listen, I'm excited to see this twos team continue to develop. I'm really pumped about it. I love the way that they're playing. They're playing like the protagonists. They're being the protagonists on the field. And I'm really excited to see them in Athens. If you guys can't come up to Athens, we're going to have the call for you on Soccer Down Here. So make sure you listen. You can also watch it on MLSNextPro.com or OneFootball.
Sync it up.
and we sync it up with us. That way you can watch it and enjoy us talking about the match too. We'll also have coverage from you that entire day, getting you ready for the matchup. Stay tuned on SDH this week. We're going to have some features, some other videos to go out to for the twos as well. But here's my thing. I think as well, as you look ahead to the twos, I mean, you want to get ready. If you can come to Athens, I believe, if I remember correctly, I believe these matches are free for attendance in Athens. So if you want to come up to Athens and enjoy it and come be with us as well, and enjoy the chaos that is seeing the proving ground in a different location, come hang out with us in Athens. It'll be fun.
It will. Please hold. Officially official, surprising no one. River Plate turns into Atlanta United announcing signing Matias Galarza on loan through the end of the fiscal year, June 30th, with a transfer option in the summer. Galarza will occupy an international roster spot pending the receipt of his international transfer certificate and P1 visa. Quoting Chris Henderson, Matias is a talented young player who will add energy and intensity to our midfield, 24 years old, played in multiple big games in South America, both at the club and international level, recently helping Paraguay qualify for the 26 World Cup. Excited to welcome him to Atlanta. 151 professional appearances, 10 plus 6 in all comps. First divisions, Argentina, Brazil, Copa Libertadores. 14 appearances for River Plate since joining the club in July of 25. Previously played for Talleres in Argentina, 5 plus 2 in 68 matches there in almost 2 years. Won the Supercopa. 7 appearances in the Copa Libertadores, helping the team reach the round of 16. And so a 5'9", 24-year-old midfielder on loan through June 30th. And so if I remember the numbers correctly where Matias Galarza is concerned, it is $3 million for 50% of the pass, and it is based on performance metrics if he plays in half of the matches between now and the end of the loan. So I think it's 6 is the appearance number that we're looking at for Matias Galarza between now and the end of June. So Matias Galarza official. So he is Matias Galarza. He is not MGF. So I guess it will be just Matias Galarza when he is here. So new midfielder for Atlanta United.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're looking for I think you're trying to round out, I think, with what you want to see from Tata's side. And I think this is one of the signings you want to see from that. I'm excited to see him play in that midfield, especially with everything shaping out. I think everything else with the loan too. I think you want to see what's happening here, and yeah, I'm excited to see him. I'm pumped about it. I have to do a little bit more research. Listen, my prep for Atlanta United normally comes like Wednesday-ish, and so basically I'm going to be taking. Honestly, it might actually start Tuesday, depending on everything else. I don't know, depending on my workflow this week, because. Listen, who knows? This is just me talking about my schedule for the week now on the morning show. So,
speaking of your schedule, is Sophia taking her still camera with you? For picture day or for
I actually don't know if Sophia's bringing her camera. It'd be kind of smart for her to bring her camera.
Okay,
I'll call her probably later today and ask. So
okay, well, take your Marshall Island scarf and take a picture. They need a new one for their.
We still got to figure that out. I think we want to do like an actual like photo like shoot type thing with that. So we're gonna work on it. It's a little bit busy right now, John, but we'll figure it out.
Okay. All right. So the rest of the day for you is recovering and not talking. Yes.
Yes, I mean, exactly. Well, I have to talk a little bit more for like 2-3 hours, but then after that, I'm not speaking.
Okay. Okay. So go and do your things. Thanks as always for coming in on Mondays at 9:30. So it's Abe Gord. So here's your Mondays in season. If she's got a voice, Maddie comes in at 9:30 after Abe, who usually bats lead off, and then Bart comes in. We're going to have Bart come in about 20 minutes to talk about the WNT, hair pulling, Trinity Rodman, wins over Argentina. Everything that happened overseas involving Yanks. And we do have a new note on Weston McKinney and Juve, and we have to get into that. And we get into cards and calls, and a boatload of it happened in Philadelphia and NYC, in addition to what happened with the red card in LAFC and Antonio Carlos with Houston. So there's a lot of things to get into with Bart coming up in about 20 minutes. Go save your voice.
I will. I'll talk to y'all later.
There goes Maddie. And so Maddie is doing when Maddie comes in on Mondays, it's the acoustic set. And so she comes in and has her secondary thoughts on what happened on the weekend. So Mondays traditionally are going to be Abe, Maddie, Bart. So that's the regular season. That's what it's going to be here on Mondays. Speaking of which, we're stacked this week. I also have 3 guests that I'm trying to figure out where to plug them in. We're going to be getting to that tomorrow. It is Dave Leno, play-by-play voice of Philadelphia Union, coming in. He's going to join us at 9:30. Casey White's going to join us at 10. And since she was color for Christian Miles on the match in San Jose, we'll get her thoughts on Atlanta United and what she saw. And we'll ask about aggression and trying not to play afraid. So we'll get into that with KCD when she joins us at 10 o'clock tomorrow. Allie Curtis, president of MLS Next Pro, is going to be joining us at 10:30 tomorrow. And we will get his thoughts on match day 1 and getting into match day 2 and so on and so forth. So that is Tuesday here on the morning show. Tuesday night, Drew and I, well, an SOT is tonight at 8, and we'll all be together for that. So SOT is tonight, 8 o'clock. Tomorrow night, Drew and I will be at the Dungeon. It is a revisit for our trips to Johnson, Gainesville. I found my tablet, by the way. It was buried under like 19 different layers of things because we were we got new carpet installed on the top floor here at the Imitation Palatial Estate. And when things get moved, then you're wondering where they are because the tablet usually never leaves my side. Maddie knows this. And so I was wondering where the tablet was after we were at Johnson, Gainesville the last time, and it was snowed under with everything that had been moved from the top floor to make sure that there was room for the folks to install the carpet. And when that happened, the tablet got lost in the stacks. And so I found the tablet once we started cleaning the house back up and moving everything back to its original floodlight and lock position. But I say that because last time I saw the tablet before yesterday was at Johnson, Gainesville. And so I'm taking the tablet with me, and I will be meeting Drew at Johnson, Gainesville. Jefferson and Johnson, Gainesville doubleheader tomorrow night on the network. That is going to be 5:30 and 7:30, I believe. I think it's 5:30 and 7:30 at the Dungeon. And it will be Molly McCarty and the Dragons on the girls' side taking on Johnson, Gainesville, and Frank Zamora on the boys' side taking on Tyler Pineda and the Dragons after that. So that's Tuesday. Wednesday, it is pretty much wide open. Like I said, I'm trying to figure out if we can plug guests in on Wednesday morning that will give us either opposition research or MLS research. And also the busiest man in the Northeast, Dylan Butler, in and around Dillon. Also, Thursday is the Power Hour, and this is also in that 9 o'clock hour where we will be filling in, hopefully, our guests that we have, and we just haven't plugged them into slots yet. And then the Power Hour is from 10 to 11 with Nino and Nico. Nino Torres gives us everything from South America, plenty to get into there, and new coach at River, amongst other things. And then Nico Moreno and everything at Sounder at Heart and Pulso Sports. He's going to be at 10:30. We may go added time on Thursday. I'll keep you posted. Thursday, we're in Social Circle for Utopian Academy and Social Circle in region play in Class A. I'll be out there for that, and we'll have that doubleheader for you. Then Friday, it is ending a little early, doctor's appointment. And got to make sure the boss gets there on time. And so hopefully our friends from Beyond Goals Mentoring can join us at 9:30, either Greg or Cap. Cap was at Wake Forest for a special reunion. And so that was why he was out of pocket. And then Greg traveling the planet as he always does. So we'll see if we can catch up with our friends at Beyond Goals at 9:30 and catch up with our friends at Apple TV at 10, ending probably about 10:45 tomorrow. So I might come on early at 9 o'clock. And then wrap it up about 10:45. So that's what Friday's looking like. And then Friday, we will be at Eastside for Walnut Grove and Eastside's doubleheader. That's on the network on Friday. I think Jason and I will be out there for that. And then Saturday is game day, home opener, Atlanta United and RSL. 6:30 pregame on 92.9. Star 94 and the Odyssey app. That is on Saturday, 6:30 pregame, 94, Star 94, 7:40 kick. Mike and Jason getting you ready for 7:40 along with Abe and Maddie. Abe and Maddie pregame, Mike and Jason in game, me and Abe after, all on Star 94. and we'll have you ready for that. And then the Two's home opener is Sunday night at the Turner Complex at the University of Georgia. We'll have that one for you, pregame 6:30, and it is kick at 7. And then you'll have the broadcast for you there, and then we're off and running for yet another week. So that's where we are. And then next week, I'm in Macon, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'll be doing the morning show Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Don't know about Red Clay next Wednesday. This Wednesday, we're fine, and we're gathering some heavyweights. Next Wednesday, the 10th? Yeah, next Wednesday, the 10th. I don't, unless schedules can help out. Red Clay may sit for a week, but I'll be doing the morning show and then sprinting out of the hotel to go to the Macon Coliseum for the basketball championships on Georgia Public. We do have some high school games, obviously, in that week. One of those is next Tuesday, week from tomorrow. We're at Norcross and North Gwinnett. There's your breaking news where that's concerned. Then we have another couple of matches that are later on in the week, including jumping over a state line for a big matchup. So we'll get into those discussions. But next week, I'll be here for the morning show, but I drift off and do basketball championships next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I'll be with you, but then I got to sprint to the Macon Coliseum. So that's the next week plus next. So that's where we are. Bart's set to join us in about 15 minutes. Other news of the morning that we'll be getting into, in addition to the discussions of Matias Galarza coming in on loan through the end of the calendar year. Thank you, Abby. I get all my days confused. And besides, my calendar is on the other side of this door, my big calendar. So I'm having to get all my dates squared away. All right. So other news going on in and around the planet. You had, like I said, we'll get into the Weston McKennie contract signing with Bart when he joins us bottom of the hour. Apparently, Spurs have been fined €30,000, given a suspended one-match ban from selling tickets to away fans due to what UEFA terms, quote, the racist and or discriminatory behavior of its supporters, end quote, against Frankfurt on January 28. Man is suspended for a probationary period until March of 2027. Spurs are also fined €2,250 for the throwing of objects. Along those lines, Igor Tudor said that he warned that he could be sacked as Spurs manager after less than 3 weeks. 2-1 loss to Fulham. Second defeat as Spurs interim manager, club's fourth on the bounce. 16th with 29 points, 4 clear of the relegation zone with 10 matches to go. Tudor claimed Tottenham were lacking across all areas of the pitch as well as brains. Tudor said they arrive before us, they predict, and we are always late on everything. That's the problem. Forest and West Ham also lost over the weekend. But should Spurs, and this is from our friends at Talk Sports, alarming form continue and either Forest or West Ham pick up points, you're talking about the possibility of Igor Tudor maybe getting sacked. So 2 games, it hasn't gone well. And so you're looking at just, whoa. It could be bad for Spurs. And like I said, we've gotten into their financial problems / issues if they were to be relegated, and they are there. They are right there as a part of this. And we'll go over what we might do tonight as a part of SOT. We may go into the run-in and see what it looks like. But you got 10 matches to go, and you're only a handful of points away from safety, and you're Spurs. And you are Spurs. That's where you are right now. That's just no. Not there. So Domi Tarrant early this morning in the in-betweens, or so either late last night or early this morning, before we all woke up anyway, East Coast time. Domi Tarrant sacked as manager of Monterrey less than a year after being appointed. 24 trophies in 11 years with Pep Guardiola. Joined Monterrey prior to the Club World Cup. Just won once in their last 5. They are now 5th in Liga MX. 4th managerial change under sporting director Jose Antonio Noriega in his 3 years plus. They have now had 4 managerial changes. And so club comes out with a statement, and it was 3 sentences, and they thank Dome for his work, wishing success in future endeavors, recognizing the support of our fans, reaffirming our commitment to continue working to achieve the sporting results they deserve. So Domi Tarrant out at Monterrey. weekend. So that was probably one of the bigger stories that came out in the overnight. And let's see. So like I said, we get into the weekend about everything. We'll get into MLS tomorrow and have all of the highlights from there. San Diego puts up big numbers. San Diego FC, they put up big numbers. We'll get into Messi and friends in the purple team, where it was 2-0 and then it was 4-2. And I think that speaks to both clubs, and we'll get into that tomorrow. Like I said, once again, tomorrow it's stacked, so we'll be getting into Major League Soccer in the first half hour. Dave Leno, Casey White, and Ali Curtis joining us tomorrow. Bang, 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 9:30, 10, and 10:30. So looking forward to all of that. Let's see. I'm trying to see if there's what I probably should do is get into what to watch, where to watch it, and how to watch it, and then all the other gossip, rumor, and innuendo that we have. And you can do that by helping out with our friends at the Fanatis, fntz.co/soccer down here. What to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it today. That link is important. Helps them, helps us, and helps you by adding more matches to everything you're already watching. With Fanatis, you get BN, which means you get all the BNs, which means you get AFCON, you get CAF Champions League, you get the Polish League, the French League, you get the Turkish League, and you get TSA matches from Argentina and a lot of the leagues from South America. You also get CDO. You get to TVV if you want to add the Venezuela package to everything that you have with Fanatis already. All in one place, one subscription, one home, fntz.co/soccer down here. So what to watch today? You got action in Italy and Spain. BN and BN Espanol simulcasting the Polish League, Zagłębie Lubin and Wisła Płock. That's at 1 o'clock. La Liga, Real Madrid's on at 3 with Getafe. Fox Big ONE has the CONCACAF U20s, and they've got access to 6 matches. Fox Soccer Plus has a doubleheader at 4 and 7. Paramount Plus has Serie A doubleheader access 12:30 and 2:45. Birmingham City and Middlesbrough at 3. On the women's side, it is the W Championship in CONCACAF on Golazo Network, Nicaragua and Jamaica. And VIX has the W Championship as well, with simulcasting the Nicaragua match and St. Lucia in Mexico. That is at 2 o'clock. And so that is what to watch, where to watch it, and how to do it. You go to Fanatis, fntz.co/soccer down here. Now, gossip, rumor, and innuendo to take a peek at all of that. I don't want that reaction. Okay, so here we go. Now, the biggest questions are, at this rate, will Harry Kane and Vinicius Jr. extend their contracts? Bayern Munich wants Harry Kane to sign. Real Madrid wants the same for Vinicius Jr. Keep an eye on all of that stuff. Ramping up their efforts to get Harry Kane to re-sign and extend, according to Fabrizio Romano, amid interest from clubs in the Prem and the league we don't talk about. Existing deal has over a year remaining. Inspired form as he closes in on Lewandowski's 41-goal single-season Bundesliga record. Vinicius Jr. constant contact with Real Madrid over a contract extension, according to AS. Current deal is expiring in 2027. Frustrations under Xabi Alonso led to reports over a possible exit from the Bernabeu, from the league we don't talk about in the Prem. However, a recent uptick in form under Arbeloa could see him extend his deal, according to AS, with discussions ongoing. City willing to break the world record transfer fee for a fullback in order to sign Tino Livramento from Newcastle. Sorry, Alex. According to Team Talk, existing record is Achraf Hakimi's £60 million from Inter from PSG in 2021. They like his form. Contract runs through 28 currently. United scouts have been left impressed, in quotation marks, according to Team Talk, by Stuttgart midfielder Kima Andres. 20-year-old came through the ranks at Real Madrid before moving to Germany in the transfer window for just £2 million. United are joined by Arsenal, City, and Newcastle. Any deal is complicated by Real Madrid having a buyback clause worth £10 million. United willing to move Mason Mount in the summer, according to Ekrem Konur. Struggled to gain consistent minutes since his £55 million move from Chelsea. Injuries adding to that. Mount approaching the final 2 years of his deal at Old Trafford. An exit could be on the cards. Villa is showing interest. Newcastle looking at Marcus Senesi from Bournemouth. That's from the 3-letter paper. Villa keen on a move for Nico Jackson this summer. Expected to return to Chelsea at the end of the loan deal from Bayern Munich. Alexis McAllister quickly becoming a top target for Real Madrid. Arsenal, Chelsea, and City monitoring a potential move for 19-year-old PSG midfielder Sini Mayulu amid a contract stalemate. Fulham and West Ham willing to meet AC Milan's contract for Yunus Musa this summer. We'll talk Yunus Musa coming up with Bart in a bit. following the conclusion of his loan spell with Atalanta. Once again, Ephraim Konur with that news. Manchester United stepping up plans to sign a keeper in the summer with Andre Onana and Alte Bayindir free to leave the club in the upcoming window. Forest are not planning on triggering a permanent deal clause in the loan move for Lorenzo Luca. Striker expected to return to Napoli at the end of the season, according to Nicolo Schira. Barcelona intending on sealing a new contract for Ferran Torres, with his deal expiring in 27. Talks are yet to open between the two parties, and that is courtesy of our friends at AS. So that is your early rounds of gossip, rumor, and innuendo when it comes to who might be moving, who's interested, and what you're staring at from all of that. So it's a very, very busy weekend when it came to everything on the rumor bin is where I'm trying to go. And so when Bart comes in, obviously we will discuss what happened at the IFAB meetings and what's going to be kicking in with those new rules. Man, trying to talk quickly is not working this morning for me. So we'll get into the IFAB all hands on deck meeting and get into the rules that were adopted to the laws of the game that came from MLS NEXT PRO when it came to substitutions and injuries and such. And we'll get into all the other IFAB things that are now on the books. So we'll get into that coming up here in a couple of minutes as well. If you missed it, it is Matias Galarza now in with Atlanta United on loan through the end of the fiscal year, June 30. Then if he plays, and the numbers were if he plays in half the matches between now and the end of that calendar year, then the loan turns into a purchase option, and it was $3 million and 50% of the pass. So that's where we are. So Matias Galarza joining the midfield for Atlanta United, and we will see if John can ever think literally ever again. Five stripes don't stop. Hey, there's a river. There's some bridges. Hey, and there's a paper plate. Yeah. John was trying to figure out, is it about the eclipse? No. River, plate. Way to go, John. It's a Monday. But, yeah. So that's kind of where we're at when it comes to all the things that are going on. And so we'll keep you posted on all of that. And once again, quick reminder, if you have not subscribed, you have the opportunity to catch up with everything going on with Morning Espresso. Thanks to our friends at Oglethorpe University for being the presenting sponsor for that. You can get Morning Espresso in a couple of different forms. If you like to read, comes at you with Jason's thoughts heading into the morning in newsletter form. You get that sent to your inbox. Then you can also listen to Jason on Morning Espresso and set your notifications for when it gets delivered into your inbox. And then also you can watch it on our YouTube channel. So a couple different ways to get Morning Espresso, and it gets into the ideas of, all right, so here's what's on his mind as you're coming into your day, and it's right there for you, all in one place at Morning Espresso. And once again, thanks to our friends at Oglethorpe University, and it is a big swath that Jason gets to cover every morning. He gets to give you all of the things that you need to know going in, and we get to do the deeper dive on some of those topics as we get you in on your day. So it's a lot of different stuff from a lot of different places on the planet. And also remember, keep an eye out for a couple of things. The USL Players Association members voted to authorize the bargaining committee to issue a strike if they don't get a new CBA. And remember, we are 1 week away from the beginning of the season. 90% of the player pool participated in the vote. 90% rejected the league's latest proposal. Key issues extend beyond salary to contract lengths, buyouts, healthcare, 12-month considerations, housing as the 26th season approaches. So we'll keep up an eye on that. And then you have, we reminded you about the lower back jersey sponsorships for Major League Soccer. You'll start to see that popping up, I think, after the All-Star break. And so we've seen it in other leagues. Liga MX is one that comes to mind, but you'll start to see the idea of those teams below the numbers, lower back. You'll start to see that as a part of MLS sponsorship packages as well. Columbus, Ohio is looking at an NWSL expansion franchise. The Haslams are interested severely and are kicking the tires in that. They would play at the Death Star, Wisconsin Miracle Grove Field, and they're looking for a 28 entry. And so they are a leading contender right now, and the Haslams are interested in making sure that everything is up and running for you there. And like I said, we were glad that we were able to catch up with a couple of folks when it came to getting you ready for the 2 season. If you missed Maddie's interview with Jose Silva, that is up online, and you can catch that on our YouTube channel, in addition to Liam Butts, who returns home with Atlanta United with Atlanta United 2 this year. He was with the Revs 2 last year. Now he's with Atlanta United 2 this year, and so you get to break down what's going on for the Twos as they head into 2026 with the man in charge on the touchline and Jose Silva, and one of the folks who is being relied upon and anticipated to have a lot of offensive input this year, Liam Butts. It's great to have Liam home. And it was a 1-1 draw, so Atlanta United goes on the road. And think about this. Like I said, the average age was 19.9 last night. And you had Liam, who's in his mid-20s. You had a couple of players in their mid-20s and a couple of college graduates. You had 3 it was a 17-year-old and 5 players that were so it was 6 players that were 18 or younger of the starting 11. And then you had the veteran presence up top in the attack, but you had 6 players who were 18 years old or younger last night in the lineup for Atlanta United 2. So you had that happening as well. Celtic and Rangers in Old Firm, that one drew at 2. Like I said, we'll talk about that one should Jarrett be okay and come to join us for SOT. You had a lot of things happening in the LPF, and I'm trying to see if there's anything else that's on the board this morning, at least internationally. I think we're good internationally until SOT. But like I said, the biggest news was the Dome Torrent dismissal a little before 7 o'clock this morning. And it was an email. I want to check and see when that was posted to social media really quickly, because that was something for me that I was like, really? You're posting that there? Rayados. So Rayados on social media. When did they post it? They posted it literally at 1:30 in the morning. 1:30 in the morning Eastern time was when they made the announcement after the loss to Cruz Azul, where it was 2-0, that they were dismissing Dome Torrent and wishing him the best in his future endeavors. So that was 1:30 this morning was when that was announced. And so Dome Torrent is out. 4 managers are out under the new sporting director, who has been there slightly more than 3 years. So that's David. The Brown Stadium needs a new tenant. Yeah, you can put him there. I don't know if the stadium is. And Cleveland was pursuing an NWSL franchise on their own. They had an independent group that was doing that there in Cleveland. But if the Haslams do it in Columbus, it's a size specific thing where you might move it to Cleveland Brown Stadium if you have one of those moments where you could have 50,000 folks, or 30 or 40, or maybe you move it to the Horseshoe, something like that. But let's see. So morning, David. Morning, Wiley. Morning, Michael. And let's see. Morning, Abby. Wiley's still sour about Campbell High School basketball. That's your Google search for today, kids. Campbell High School basketball, high school boys basketball. That's your Google search. Let's see. Morning, Abby. And I think Abby's messages finally at least got approved by the Twitch force. Morning, Airborne DJ. Welcome back. Morning, Michael. Let's see who else is in here this morning. Morning, David. Whoa, I guess this is a good thing. David went to the brew house last night, said they were sold out of the Around the Corner lager. I have to remember that. That's very nice. Let's see. Morning, Tom. Morning, David. Morning, Abby. Morning, Emilio. Like I said, I'm hoping that the Twitch force has helped out in that regard. Morning, Ricky. Let's see who else is in this morning that I might have skipped over here this morning. Morning, Catalucci. Let's see. Morning, David. Morning, Abby. And Tom and Emilio. I mean, Alexi and Emilio. Alexi is happy being here. I mean, we all express it in different ways. Alexi's happy here. So I don't know where that came about, but nevertheless, It is a Manic Monday. It is definitely a reaction Monday. So let's see. Morning to me. So Abby and Tom and Michael and Emilio and let's see. Pars, good morning. Let's see. And Tommy, good morning to you for coming in as well. Like I said, I'm glad that you're all in here this morning. It's cool to have all of you here on a Reaction Monday to discuss things. So, like I said, I'm trying to shuttle back and seeing if I've missed anything or anyone. Let's see, Ricky, Michael, Pars, Abby. Like I said, I am now in the early parts. So yes, and then when Ricky explained it to me with the lunar eclipse and Abby. So, let's see, Abby, Ricky, David. Okay, we're caught up. There we go. Okay, so good morning to all of you who have participated in the Twitch pitch this morning, and looking for, well, okay. So the comment about the turf. I mean, it's if you. And what we need to hear is the actual audio, because I saw that come out and everyone's excited about grass. I mean, I think that if you grow up with the game, you understand that you're going to be playing on different surfaces, and some folks have preferences one way or the other. I don't think that some teams are built on turf. Some teams are built to do things very, very quickly on a surface. And we saw that. And we've seen that with teams in Major League Soccer. They'll want to play indoors and want to play on turf. So where Alexi is concerned, Alexi was just making the point and that's the thing, is that when you see something written, I will say this. What we like to do here is we like to play long things. We like to do long sound bites. We like to give context, and we like to give structure. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and find from last week Alexi talking about playing on grass. And I'm going to play the full soundbite. And so, like I said, I'm going to find it, but I want to play the full soundbite and give it proper context instead of just something that's written by someone on social about one thing or another. Because I know that there was an X post. I call them tweets still. I know that there were posts about it, but I want to hear the audio and I want to hear him say it versus what someone does when they're trying to basically just flip what someone is saying into a soundbite. So that's what I'm going to do. And Emilio, like I said, I don't know what was said about the match. Maybe you put it in Pig Latin or something, and maybe it won't get blocked. I don't know. Like I said, we don't have any. I don't know if it was a keyword or something, and you have to put asterisk in it so it doesn't get Twitch forced. So I don't know what it was, and I don't think they show us. I don't think the Twitch force shows us, hey, review this or whatever. They just sit there and they do their blanket deal. So maybe there's a way to post it, like maybe Pig Latin or something, so it doesn't get blocked. But like I said, Abby was discussing with me when we saw that her comments were blocked. She literally showed me. She screenshotted it and showed it to me what was going on. And I was like, really? Okay. Like I said, I have no input impact. Like I said, I don't even see it. So when Abby told me what she was saying was getting reviewed, I went like, seriously? And she screenshotted it from me. I'm like, seriously? So like I said, I think the Twitch force might have just awakened on the wrong side of the bed this morning, and they're chasing after things. So, so there you go. So like I said, but what I will do is I will find Alexi's soundbite, and I'll play the whole thing. Question through the end of an answer, just so we can get proper context on this kind of stuff. And I imagine that folks, if they've had injuries in the past or, one thing, that there are preferences for everybody. But I want to play the full thing. Yes, there you go. Yeah. So David with the breaking of the code for anybody that wants to post things and you're hoping that it doesn't get reviewed by any kind of Twitch force or anything like that. So $signs and ats. $signs and ats. So like I said, so I'll find that Alexi soundbite, because I know what was posted but I also want the context. We also know how Alexi responds in sound bites. So there we go. So there you go. So that's I wrote it down. So I want to try and find that soundbite from last week. So, all right. Like I said, we are in a holding pattern for Bart. So tell you what I'm going to do is I am going to go and we'll do Yanks Abroad here. We'll get into Yanks Abroad because I know that there were folks that were freaking out about Christian Pulisic and what was not happening and what has not happened with him since 2026 began. And so you've got that going on. So let's take a look. Let's take a peek at Yanks Abroad and go through what happened there. So Nokai Banks gets an assist in Augsburg's win over Cologne on Friday night on Ribeiro's goal. 19-year-old son of an American father and a German mother, played for the 23 U17s. Pochettino called him into camp in the 25 September window. He didn't play. So he gets an assist on the weekend. So Big Five Leagues review. So Tyler Adams apparently lucky to escape a red for his challenge on Granit Xhaka in Bournemouth's 1-1 tie with Sunderland. Yellow card confirmed, dangerous, not reckless. And so Adams is now back for his second match after the knee injury that kept him out for a while. And you go with Brendan Aronson, who played 60 and a loss to Manchester City. Tyler Adams played north of 60 in the draw with Sunderland. Chris Richards played a full 90 at Manchester United in a loss. Jedi Robinson on the bench for the 2-1 loss, or the 2-1 win against Spurs. In France, Valérien Balogun, winning goal in the 2-0 win over Angers, fourth goal of the month, 12th of the year. Final moments of the match went in Marseille's favor. Tim Weah's Marseille beat Tanner Tessman's Lyon 3-2. A couple of late goals from Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. First win for Habib Beye and moved Marseille to within 2 points of third place Lyon. So Balogun on the L'Equipe rating scale, 1 to 10, logic. Balogun gets a 6, 72 minutes and a goal. Tim Weah got a 5, so middle of the road for Marseille in 84 minutes. Mark McKenzie, 90 minutes in a loss to Rennes. Tanner Tessman, 90 minutes in that same match in the loss to Marseille. So L'Equipe on Balogun. The American didn't have a great game because he was completely exhausted. In fact, once the score was settled, Pocagnoli replaced him with Biereth in the 73rd. But who up on scoring? Him. Always him and him again. He was lucky because Ousmane Kamara was very unlucky on that occasion. Balogun has risen above everyone else, and his determination made the difference once more. Germany. Timothy Tillman missed Leverkusen's match with Mainz after failing to recover in ankle injury suffered a week earlier against Union Berlin. Kevin Paredes was sidelined as well. James Sands started for St. Pauli in their win with Hoffenheim. So 1 to 6, and 1 is the high, and that's Bild. Nokai Banks with a 2, assist and a yellow. James Sands played a full 90. Christopher Lund, very, very low, along with Joe Scally and Damian Downs. Joe Scally had a yellow in a win. Lund had 90 minutes in a loss against Augsburg. Damian Downs, 66 minutes in the loss to Leipzig. And cups of coffee went to Leonard Maloney and Cole Campbell. Malik Tillman was injured, did not play. Gio Reyna on the bench. Kevin Paredes was injured. Christian Pulisic struggled to make an impact for AC Milan, who needed 2 late goals after he exited the match to win at Cremonese 2-0. Weston McKennie gets his head on the ball in a penalty area, allowing Gotti to score the equalizer in stoppage time in Juve's 3-3 tie against Roma. Loss would have eliminated Juve's hopes of finishing in the top 4 and making Champions League next year. And so Weston McKennie, 90 minutes assist, 6-goal thriller. Yunus Musa, under 24 minutes, gets a goal. Loss at Sassuolo. Christian Pulisic, a 5, 77 minutes with Cremonese. Benjamin Kromaski, cup of coffee with Cagliari. Johnny started his 3rd straight match with Atletico in their 1-0 win over Real Oviedo, moving them into 3rd. He had not started 3 matches in a row since the first 3 of the season. Cardoso plays 60. Alex Freeman was on the bench. Diego Koken did not dress. Haji Wright scored his 15th of the season. Coventry knocking off Stoke, his 5th goal of the month. Matt Freese, big saves. Indiana Vasilev, one of those attempting the PK in the 89th minute. We'll get into that with Bart in a second, plus everybody that played here in the States. And so now that the real world is finally slowing down, jeez. Bart Keeler, what up?
Good morning, John. Sorry about that.
Well, it's real world, dude. We get it. You know.
I know what's the real world. You're right. Sometimes it happens.
Darn real world. Anyway, got into the Yanks abroad bit, and I saved the note on Weston McKennie and breaking news, I guess. So it's more of a developing story since it's almost an hour old. Weston McKennie has agreed to a new Juve contract through 2030, or through the 29 season to 2030. Existing deal expires in June this year. Free to negotiate a pre-contract with an overseas club since January. And so Weston McKennie locked up through 2039. I think that if you looked at that with Juve and you stared at him across the long rectangular glass table with the matching chairs, you just sit there and you go, well, duh.
Well, they've been down on McKennie his entire time at Juve, and so I would say they're not a little surprised they decided to fully commit, because I feel like since he got there, they said, well, no, he's not actually part of the project, or well, he is part of the project. So I'm glad that he's locked in with a big club. Right? I think he has shown here that he is capable of playing at that level, both in Serie A and in the Champions League. So for him, I guess Juve wants him.
Yeah, for now. But once again, when we discuss these kinds of things, it is all about controlling the asset, because you never know when someone is going to come knocking on your door and they might be really interested in an individual, and it's not in a pre-contract setting or a contract setting where time is running down. You can sit there and you're in control of the asset and go, well, what's it worth to you? And you can kind of dictate terms in a situation like that. And so now he is under the roof of Juve through the 29 season. So I figured I would wait for that one to come to the table. Now, reason we have you here, now that we have gone through Yanks abroad, is we wanted to start off with the IFAB all hands on deck meeting from the weekend. MLS brought a couple of things to the table, and they had them instituted in their own community. And as it turns out, everybody at IFAB was like, oh, okay, that sounds cool. And so it gets adopted at the all hands on deck meeting. And so the time wasting bit and the injury and the substitutions, those are now part of the laws of the game that are going to be kicking in the summer. So you got some stuff at IFAB to look at, and we'll get into the other things. But the first two things coming from Major League Soccer and MLS Next Pro, IFAB votes them in as laws of the game.
I hate it. Sorry. As a grassroots referee, someone who will be dealing with this and applying these to kids who barely listen as it is, I hate it. Now, I am curious if these are going to be actual laws of the game, or similar to the way VAR is written to the laws of the game and other things, like procedures and official protocols for implementing these types of rules. Because there are differences between laws of the games and rules of competition. Right. And so I do wonder if they're going to outline these rules of competition, codify them in the laws of the game, and say, this is something you can use. So the captain's, thing is one of them that is not necessarily in the laws of the game as this is everything, right? Because a U10 match isn't going to matter for that. But at, levels that matter, it allows them to use that. So I am just curious how it will actually be written into the laws of the game. If there is an actual, like, well, if you get hurt, you have to immediately leave the field for a minute or whatever it is. Or if you don't leave the field in quick enough time for after called for a sub, then, your team's going out. Because, again, I referee with kids on a week. And listening is not forte.
Yes. No.
And if you tell me as soon as that board goes up, they go off. We don't use board first stuff.
Right.
We're listening, Johnny, you're coming out. And Johnny's waiting for in the corner about to take a corner. And he's like, huh? Billy listens to parents, certainly isn't listening because he's, tying his shoe at that point. So I think that there does need to be, again, one of the things that's beautiful about the law of the game is it is written to make sure the game looks and is played the same. The highest of highs and the low levels.
Right.
These things, to me, are way too cumbersome when you get into those lower levels.
Okay. Let's see. Corners and second yellow
I'm
cards.
not saying they are good or bad.
Right.
I'm not saying they're good or bad.
Right.
I think a lot of people who watched MLS the past couple seasons like that play has restarted quicker. I'm not saying we don't need that. I'm saying you're giving another element of to a dude in the center who we talk about every single week already has a bajillions and things to keep track of, and it's one dude.
Yes. So you have measures to address loss of tempo, cutting down on time wasting, new countdowns on goal kicks, throw-ins and substitutions come into force on June 1st. You have further trials about potential changes to offside. Thank you, Arsene Wenger. And I wish I could drop my Wenger impression in here. Consulting about players combating, covering their mouth and confronting opponents during matches. Staging trials with a view to finding ways to stop tactical timeouts prompted by keepers having on-field treatment. Women's Super League has put itself forward to take part in that. And the Wenger proposal for changing the offside law is finally going to be trialed in the Canadian Premier League when their new season begins in April. And don't get me started on VAR. That's going to be an entirely different setup for the two of us. So following the success of the 8-second time limit imposed on keepers releasing the ball when it's in their hands, countdown is now going to be applied to players taking goal kicks and throw-ins. Possession will switch if the player takes too long, meaning a goal kick could become a corner or a throw would go to the opposition. So substituted player has to leave the field within 10 seconds. Replacement will not be immediately available to come on. Team has to play a man down, so you get a power play for at least 60 seconds until the next ball goes out. Players who go off injured have to stay off for an extended period, doubling the Premier League's 30-second regulation to a minute. FIFA had trialed 2 minutes, also used in Major League Soccer in the Arab Cup in December. Leagues had concerns about unintended consequences, such as a player having to leave the field when injured and their team conceding a goal. There will be exemptions, including when the opposition player has been booked or sent off if a substitution is being made, or if the player is to take a penalty. The law will not apply to keepers, and no solution was agreed for the, quote, tactical timeout that has, according to Dale Johnson at the BBC, been seen as a scourge of the modern game. IFAB technical panels discussed the issue at length. No common ground on an effective solution. A proposal to take an outfield player off was proposed but rejected. Then it could cause an injured keeper not to seek treatment for fear of hampering the team. IFAB decided trials could be conducted to further assess the issue and propose options as a deterrent. So there you go. Amendment to the law around DOGSO. At present, defender can only be sent off if the player fouled is through on goal, but that will now be expanded so it covers teammates of the attacker. The wording, quote, location and number of attackers, end quote, has been added to the considerations. This is expected to apply to teams who are, for instance, on a fast counterattack. The fouled player may not have a scoring chance, but if they could have passed to a teammate who would, that may be DOGSO next season. So I guess we're now getting into DOGSO adjacent, at least next season, I guess is probably the best way to phrase it. So we're getting into DOGSO adjacent now, possibly, maybe. Did I read that right? DOGSO adjacent? Nope, you're muted.
So like,
there we go. There you go. Now you're back. You're back. You're back. You're good.
Sorry, I forgot I need to turn it on. I feel like things that VAR has caused is for people to have a distinct, specific, quantifiable, measurable thing for everything.
Got it.
Except for how long a VAR review should take about.
Oh boy! Don't get me started.
And that is my concern, is that now I feel like everything, the sole job now of the center official is going to be counting and tracking things, not manning the game.
Right. Yeah. So you need to have a designated counter. You need to have like a fourth who just kind of, the fourth will sit there and he'll be the one going like this. He'll be the one counting off now.
That while he's getting yelled by the official by coaches or when he is being yelled by the coaches?
Oh, I don't know. That's yeah. So you have to split. You might have to have just an actual timekeeper with a bell, like they have in boxing. It's just that's all he's there for. He's to take his little hammer and he just pounds on the bell, or you have somebody with a tone and a megaphone or something, or he just kind of counts off to the side. He's like in the 9th row, or he's up in the press box, and you have the official PA announcer going 1, 2, and then you get into the randomness of it. But yeah, so time, dog so adjacency, the Wenger offside rule, and a lot of other things that have been added. So just when you thought you had enough on your plate, they give you more, huh?
Yeah, that's what I feel like. Again, we only have most places. We only have 3 officials on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very rarely do we have anything that has a 4th official. I mean, you got high school games for how long, John, and do 4 officials until it's still like final officials.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just adding a lot to the plate of people who already have a lot on their plate.
Mm-hmm. Just we're going to add more. A couple of other things. Last night was the beginning of SheBelieves, and Abby. No, and Abby, you are correct. Bart's signal is being jammed by IFAB.
John's going in and out on me, so I don't know.
Yeah, so we'll figure it out. We'll figure out Bart's transmission issues for next time. But USWNT 2-0 win over Argentina. Couple of other talking points away from the final score. I wanted to get into the tactics, if you want to call them that, of Argentina at points. And Abby was asking if we have an update on Trinity Rodman. I have not seen one. Takeaways from last night.
I can give the update that she was limping badly walking through the press zone last night.
Right. Mm-hmm. And
who joins my at the game, he saw her limping. So credit to Lawrence for that admission, but that's all I got.
Yep. Apparently may have aggravated the back injury with the 2-0 win over Argentina last night. Milagros Martin just went right into the back of Trinity Rodman, and obviously she was not pleased. And there were a lot of folks that were not pleased, including teammates and such. And definitely, the Washington Spirit ain't pleased either. But 2-0 win in that one once again. Train continues rolling for the there you go, for the WNT. And so then the other element that I wanted to get into about the WNT after last night, what we saw, there was the one moment where you had a bit of a breakaway in transition for the WNT, and Argentina just decides, okay, we're gonna pull hair for a transition opportunity to slow that down with the U.S. And yeah, folks were less than pleased about that too.
I don't think the center official last night be getting any assessment from FIFA mentor who's on site. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I thought she looked scared to call fouls. I thought she looked unable to manage any of the aggressive play from either side. And I thought that there were times that it took her 3 seconds to call a foul that was very clearly a foul, and there was no play continuing or advantage possible. I thought she had a bad night. I'm going to be real honest. And then pulling hair, very clearly pulling hair, that goes unpunished, even a yellow card. Onto multiple missed offside calls by the assistant referees. It was a bad night of officiating. I'm just going to be real honest. Part of that is I don't fool all these officials. They're, they may be new to this. Let's just put it that way. They might be testing out the international level and different. You're talking about the USWNT national team, one of the best teams in the world, if not the best in the world. You're talking about Argentina, a team has no problem kicking their grandmother. It means that they're going to win a soccer game. And
Mm-hmm.
It was contentious. Don't think it's going to be easier Wednesday, and it certainly won't be easier on Saturday when we play Columbia. So, it's unfortunate because it did feel like we were doing a whole lot of picking people up off the ground instead of trying to play soccer.
Yeah, it was not pretty. So I think I agree with your assessment about mentors and mentees and such. That is going to be a long run. So what is next for the U.S. soccer? What for soccer for USPOD? And are you doing a tweener after match 1, heading into match 2? And SheBelieves, what is your SheBelieves Cup coverage, sir?
We will be doing a full recap this week of SheBelieves Cup, taking evaluation, because the thing that I do need to say about last night's match, I think it's very clear this was a pretty, I don't want to say rotated lineup, but I do not think I don't think the 11 last night would be what it would throw out there if it was a must-win game.
Yeah.
Now, that said, Claudia Dickey did, to me, prove a whole lot last night.
Okay.
But when I said we don't need to react one game, if that makes sense, because look at this as a total evaluation of who stood out, and then what did we learn about what the team actually is going forward. And so we can't know that until after all 3 games, because last night happened. I think the lineup on Wednesday will be very different, and then we'll see what the lineup is against Columbia on Saturday as well. So no SheBelieves coverage this week. We may be doing some more U.S. soccer, building on last time we came out and see where the bubble players not in. I think right now we are trying to look at narrowing down, right, who the players coming to the World Cup will be. And part of that is because looking ahead at March roster drop, which will come out in about 2.5 weeks, I think.
Yep. And we will keep an eye on everything that is going on there with you and the Soccer for USPOD. Thanks for coming in this morning. I know the real world intervened and the real world stinks. And so now what we will do also is independently, we'll figure out your transmission problems and find out why the Russians are jamming your signal. We'll get into that coming up for the next visit. So as always, my friend.
I think what it is Man United is jamming because they don't want to talk about the team.
No, not true. I think the Russians are jamming your signal. We always encourage we encourage discussion, and we do it with depth. And so that's depth and understanding and context, and that's what we do. So no, they are not jamming your signal. Otherwise, they would be jamming the entire signal from all of us when it comes to shows over probably last handful of seasons. But no, it's not being jammed. It's just that we're measured in our responses, and so no, they're not jamming your signal. The Russians are jamming your signal too, and maybe the Argentines.
Look forward to seeing folks at the tailgates on Saturday.
Yes, that is absolutely true. We'll see you Saturday, my friend. Thanks for dropping by.
Bye, y'all.
And there goes Bart. So like I said, we'll figure out his transmission problems. I think the Russians were jamming his signal. To get into the game report from last night, 14,446, and our buddy Lucas Panzica was on the call for Westwood 1 last night. I believe Saskia Weber was in the booth with him as well. Goals by Lindsay Heaps and Jaden Shaw, 19th and 56th. So you had a shot just outside the 18 from Lindsay Heaps. Jaden Shaw gets through the hands of the keeper Solana Pereira, gets the victory in Nashville. And like I said, Milagros Martin in stoppage time was the one that kind of went through Trinity Rodman. And so the only save came from a shot by Maria Monsegundo. Only save, once again, right into her hands, struck from close range. But Claudia Dickey, once again, gets a 6 in the ratings from our friends at Soccer America. And it's on a scale of 1 to 10. Mike Waitala was viewing the proceedings. So your starting lineup was Maddie Darlene, Kennedy Wesley, Tara Rudd, Giselle Thompson at the back. Midfielders, Lindsay Heaps, Olivia Moultrie, and Lily Johannes. Up top, Emma Sears, Jamise Joseph getting her 3rd cap, and Jaden Shaw. So just to give you an idea, it was Darlene at left back, her 3rd cap, Kennedy Wesley's 4th, Tara Rudd's 11th, Giselle Thompson's 6th. Then you get into the veterans. Lindsay Heaps, her 171st cap. Olivia Moultrie, her 14th. Same for Lily Johannes. And for Emma Sears, her 15th. Jamise Joseph, her 3rd. Jaden Shaw, her 32nd. Then at the substitutions, you had Claire Hutton coming in. Lily Real came in for her 7th cap. Emily Fox, Trinity Rodman came in. Allie Sentner came in. Alyssa Thompson came in as well. Lindsay Heaps entered the game. 170 caps. The rest of the starters combined for 99. Her assist, 39th of her career, scored at least once for the USA in every year since 2015. Canada Wednesday at the Death Star in Columbus. Colombia Saturday in New Jersey in the Swamps, and that will continue there. So your starting lineup, Lily Real came in and lasted 16 minutes. Fox came in the 62nd to play the final 30, and you had Allie Sentner come in at the same time that Fox and Rodman came in, and then you had the late substitution for Trinity Rodman after injury. Thompson came in the 76th, and then you also had Claire Hutton coming in to give you a half. Your stats on the night, Deli Gomez from Costa Rica was the center ref. Iris Vale from Guatemala. Gisette Kerr-Wilson from Jamaica, your ARs. Lee Fernanda Caballero from Mexico was your 4th. Shots on the night, 6-5 for the U.S. Shots on target, 3-1. 1 save each. 33 fouls called in the match. That is a boatload of fouls. Boatload of fouls. 33 fouls called, 21 of them on Argentina. 6 offside calls, and possession was 2-1. So 33 fouls. I did not realize it was that bad. But the whole thing about the hair pull and it not turning into anything of any depth. And I said, I think that this might end up being this one is not going to be getting any kind of nominations later on for any kind of competitions of this import for that crew. So, and the AR is not wanting to help out with the center F as well. So, yeah, it was a long night for the officials. 33 fouls. I did not realize it was going to be 33 fouls. 33 fouls on the night. Wow. Whew. Okay. Did not know that. Speaking of the NWSL on Victory Plus TV, they are adding content there. And it is on-demand activity that is going on at Victory Plus with the NWSL as they're getting ready for their season coming up. It is 57 matches that are going to be available. And I don't want the pop-up windows. I'm trying to read. Victory Plus introducing fans to altcasts, including Kelly O'Hara and Coach Jackie J. So O'Hara and Jackie J on Victory Plus. They have a creator roster, sports with logs, Brittany Wilson, Eisenhower, and Emma Oldfield and Alfardi. According to the NWSL, research shows that while 74% of Gen Z follow sports, only 30% watch full games on a regular basis. Victory Plus is stepping in to help out in that regard. So if you like altcasts with Kelly O'Hara and Coach Jackie J on Victory Plus as they're getting ready for the NWSL season coming up here in just a little bit. And so season kicks off, by the way, in 11 days. That reminds me. So then we got to get Jen Hildreth on the show next week. So Prime Video is going to start things off March 13th from Audi Field, Washington Spirit, Portland Thorns. And so you have 12 days before the season starts. You have an Argentine player basically running into and or through Trinity Rodman, aggravating a back injury. So keep an eye out for that. So that's NWSL and new steps and stages for them going forward. So Anders Dreyer is the second fastest to get to 20 in 20 after his action last night. And it was 36 matches for him. Lionel Messi did it in 26. Anders Dreyer did it in 36 ahead of Carlos Vela, Giovinco, and Preki. That's your new top 5. So London, Miami, Rome, Madrid, and Paris are cities that have appeared as possible venues for the Finalissima being figured out right now. Both federations want to keep the Finalissima, and it's not something can be postponed and no other dates for it. And the Premier League looks like they're going to be opting out of the new law change, which would allow VAR to assess whether a corner should be awarded. So that's come out within the last hour, and we'll keep an eye on that. But when we have the discussions about VAR, just going forward anyway, the whole notion of VAR, and I want to find the one article before we leave here this morning. So let me see if I can find. There was a common thread amongst folks that VAR should be blown up, basically. And I'm paraphrasing, but you'll understand where I was getting to. So, where was the VAR discussion? I can't remember where it was. Of course, when I'm looking for something, then I can't find it. But it was the notion that VAR should be scrapped in general overseas. And I get the FA, and the FA, according to the Telegraph this morning, they're looking to explore the coach's challenge on VAR decisions. I like that. I don't have a problem with that at all. But the idea that VAR is something that should not be a part of the growth of the game is just, it's crazy to me that you would not want VAR. It is the implementation that is the problem, not VAR itself. So it is combining the rules of the game with VAR itself and making sure that those that are in those positions of being VAR officials are the ones that can sit there and implement the rules correctly, do it within a time frame that is manageable, so you're not fishing for something, because I've always said that the longer you're looking for something in VAR, you are looking for something. Because if it's clear and obvious, it's clear and obvious, shut the door, move on. But the more that you're trying to relitigate, as I toggle my edit switch and my viewing here, the longer you're looking for something and the longer that you're trying to do a Zapruder-like view of it, the more I think you're looking for something to relitigate, and that's the problem. It's not VAR itself that is the problem. VAR itself is bound to the individual that it's with and the laws of the game, not the individuals that want to relitigate a play. Oh, you got it wrong. That's not the point. Here's what I'm trying to convince you of about your initial call. No, that's not how this works. Relitigating plays and going over something that may or may not be clear and obvious and looking for something, that's the overall issue from my view about VAR. It's not that VAR is bad for the game. We didn't get into the whole idea of second yellows and covering mouths and all that kind of stuff. But you have these rule changes that we have to keep an eye on. But where VAR is specifically is what you're staring at. If it takes too long, you're looking for something instead of navigating the decision about the play itself. Clear and obvious should be clear and obvious. That's it. If it's not there, it's not there. Don't relitigate it. And we have too much of that, I think. And the delays and trying to make sure that, let's figure this out. No. The relitigation is the issue. So, Abby, we'll see you back here tomorrow. David looking at NBA review. Takes too long. Yeah, and that's the thing. Cost benefit of time wasted and failures to nail key moments. So, yikes. Anyway, that's the rundown for today. Back at it again, 8 o'clock tonight for Soccer Over There. And we will go through your picks of the week. And we will go through our picks of the week, and we'll see who won. Was it me or was it Jarrett? We'll find out. And we'll go through everything else that's happened today. We'll go through picks of the week in hour number 2. And it's a really busy week here. Tuesday, the show is stacked. News of the day going around Major League Soccer. Dave Leno from Philadelphia Union, 9:30. KCD, who's going to join us at 10 to talk about Atlanta United and San Jose and where she's heading next week. 10:30. Ali Curtis, president of MLS Next Pro, is going to join us, and we'll break down everything that is there as well. Tuesday night, Drew Dickinson and I are at the Dungeon for Jefferson and Johnson Gainesville. And then back at it again on Wednesday. Busiest man in the Northeast, Dylan Butler. And like I said, we still have a couple of guests that we're trying to fit in. We'll try and figure out where we can fit them in, and they are voices of the game and their opposition research to give you an idea as to what it's going to look like. But we're waiting to hear back from certain guests so we can plug and play. But we have 3 guests we're waiting to plug in for the week to see if we can fit them in or if we're going added time. But it's going to be another busy week. So thanks to all of y'all for being here as you always are. Once again, soccer over there tonight at 8 o'clock. Very, very busy week here at SDH. They're pretty much going to be busy weeks for the next 140 days because we got a lot going on around here. And we can't thank y'all enough for being a part of it with us here every single day, whether it's with Morning Espresso, coming here to SDH AM, the high school action, all of our live stuff that we do. Couldn't do it without you guys every single day. So for everybody here at SDH, I'm just John. You know what that means. It's the end of the show. That means I get to do this back here, 8 o'clock tonight. Soccer over there. Play it safe, everybody. Mucho plot to y'all. Catch up with you in a bit. Go get some lunch.
Thank you.